This one is about Charlie Kirk and his comments on Taylor Swift and her upcoming nuptials. Original post is, when Charlie Kirk told Taylor Swift, reject feminism, submit to your husband Taylor, you're not in charge, he was telling half of the population of the US that because they're women, they're inferior in status and we're effectively children. Let's dive deeper. Top comment, Sarah says, what no one is talking about in all of the Kirk drama is how these guys who make a living getting conservatives to listen to and follow them have to constantly become more and more radical and extreme in order to keep their audience. If they say something that gets attention, if they aren't saying something that gets attention, then nobody will be paying attention to them and they will be losing money. That leads them to say more and more outrageous things and become more and more extreme. Many Christo-fascists believe that women are essentially permanent children that need to be owned by and controlled by men for their entire lives. I don't know enough about Kirk to know if he really felt that way or if he was just saying those things for his audience. However, the extremism on the right is being increased by guys who make money off of insecure, weak men who want to be told how much better they are than everyone else instead of actually putting in the effort to actually make their own lives better. It keeps these men compliant so that the rich can extract more and more money from them. They will submit to being exploited. This is something that the right in the US needs to deal with. They are radicalizing their own base and increasing political violence by telling them that every problem is someone else's fault and then handing everyone a bunch of guns. Bravo, Sarah. It touches on a couple of issues here. The increase of red pill blogocaster men who don't actually help these men and boys be better and do better. They just tell them that they are better. You're already perfect the way that you are. You don't need to improve yourself. You don't need to work on yourself. If your life isn't exactly what you think it should be, it's not your fault. It's because women are witches or minorities are stealing what's rightfully yours. It's a very dangerous propaganda to be putting out there. And unfortunately, it's quite profitable right now. Let's also talk about how he wants Taylor Swift to submit to her husband. You're not the boss, Taylor. Why are these men so insecure and so threatened by women having their own money, their own passions, their own careers, and their own lives? It's almost like they feel like they can't compete with women. They have to force women to be small and submissive in order for them to actually be real men. Kind of sad and scary, actually. Let's read on some more relevant comments. The indie refugee at Blue Sky Social says Christian nationalism tells us that women should stay home and raise children unless their husbands die and they get offered his job to keep the donations rolling in. No doubt a jab at Erica Kirk here for taking over with Turning Point USA in record time after her husband was lost to political violence, let's just say. It's almost suspicious how quickly she was ready to jump in there and take his place, almost as if they had already blueprinted it out and had a game plan in place, a script and a backdrop all ready to go so that she could jump in and start spreading hate on behalf of him. Almost as suspicious as how quickly she's becoming super, super close to J.D. Vance. His leather pants. Very weird. Okay, we're going to keep reading on. Karen says, it seems to me that most ultra-conservative groups worldwide want to suppress women and keep us under the thumb of men. Why are men so insecure that they need to feel superior to women? Women contribute a great deal, if we're allowed to. 100 years ago, women had very few rights, weren't allowed to do many jobs, and were basically at the mercy of their husbands and fathers. Now women contribute equally in many cases to men. Why not? Surely men can see the positive difference that women make in many aspects of life. To pretend that our only value is as wives and mothers is not only to stifle women, but to deprive society of what we can do. And it's a shame. And I agree to that very much as well. In relation to the original commenter about Taylor Swift submitting to her man, the fact is, Taylor Swift contributes an immense amount to the economy, to the welfare and lives of others, and to society in general. She is an exceptionally generous person. She pays her crew and everybody around her extremely well. She donates millions and millions and millions of dollars to food banks all around the world, and she does the best that she can to help out. Her influence in the world is a net positive to the world. So to say to somebody like this, a woman like this, who is having a positive impact in the world in a real way, to say, oh, you need to submit to her husband, you need to, stop being powerful, stop being a feminist, stop empowering and inspiring women around the world to be just like you. Submit to your husband. The funny thing is, though, I don't think Travis Kelce expects her to submit to him. He knows where he comes in the pecking order, that her career and her music are tantamount, are going to always be centered in her life. And it's actually a part of who she is as a human being. And that doesn't make him feel inferior. It doesn't make him feel insecure because he is a man. He has done the inner work and he feels confident about himself. Granted, he should. He has earned it. He has put in the work to have that confidence. He doesn't need Taylor Swift to submit to him to feel like a man. And I think that that's where these red pill blogosphere man content is really going wrong. It's just telling these little boys, you're perfect just like you are. And if you can't get women, it's because Chads or women are witches. And it's not helpful. And just like any addiction, it has to keep ramping up and getting more and more extreme to get that same kick and the same effect that they were getting previously. And I think that that's what we're seeing a lot with a lot of these red pill man blog content creators. Let's move on and read some more comments. Okay, so comments. I don't know enough about Kirk to know if he really felt that way or if he just said those things for his audience, quoting the original poster. Says, doesn't matter if he did or not, he put his name on it. And I want to take him on his word, which is exactly true. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them, even if it's an act, even if they're pretending. If he was playing the role of the misogynist, of the devil's advocate, as he liked to do all the time, he's still responsible for the message he was sending. He's still responsible for the hate and the misogyny and the racism that he spread, even if it was an act, even if he didn't really believe it. He represented that he believed it and he put it out into the world and the impact is still the same. So it's not really a good excuse. Another relevant comment from Anita says, well, I'm a PK. That means a preacher's kid. My father was a Southern Baptist preacher, but thank God he had many conversations with my siblings, 3 brothers and my sister. In elementary school, my father told me that my sister, don't ever let a man put his hands on or control you or subjecting yourself to live beneath him. Your husband should be a partner and work together for the benefit of the family, not a boss or a master. 2 of my brothers are married. Both have a son. And that's the way that they treated their wives, with respect. Very successful marriages. My sister married a Christian, wonderful man, and they have 3 grown children, 2 sons and 1 daughter, all college graduates. Daughter has a PhD, 1 son a master's. So these extreme views of marriages, if that's what women, If that's what some women want, more power to them. But if that's not what a woman wants and the husband tries to force that lifestyle, get away as quickly as you possibly can. And definitely don't marry him. Marriages should be a partnership, not a dictatorship. Thank you, Anita, for that comment. I think that was chef's kiss. You can structure your marriage however you desire, but it needs to be equal desire, equal levels. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to be a stay-at-home wife, take care of the children, make dinners for your man. All of that stuff is beautiful and it has its place in this world. And if that is what you want for yourself and what you choose for yourself, then bless you. Go for it. I hope that you have a good man and I hope that you are taken care of forever in the future and that you are very, very happy in that choice. Unfortunately, not everyone has that support and the options. Not every man is kind with his, let's just say, his domination over his wife. If you want to be submit to, then he's dominating, I guess. Not all of them are soft and kind with their domination. So let's remember that. Not everyone's in the same situation that you are in, and we all need to be given the space to choose and build our lives based on our own desires and our own personal experiences. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. I appreciate you for watching today. Remember, have the day you deserve and the life you voted for.